It may seem counterproductive, but one of the strongest acts of God in this life may be Him giving you over to your sin to allow it to completely wreck you so that you have to be less of yourself and require more of Him so He can deliver you from it for good. It is our own human hearts that are hardened and lust after sin, but God may choose that the best path forward for you is rock bottom so that you are led to truly surrender and get past that fleshly desire to try to fix things on our own or minimize the impact of sin and think there are just no consequences. We see this in the book of Exodus when God calls Moses to ask the Pharaoh of Egypt to release the Israelites. For some context, the Israelites were slaves to Egypt for many, many years, and God is using a normal human like He always does through Moses and his brother Aaron to request that Pharaoh release the Israelites from captivity and from slavery. As I'm sure you could even guess, the Pharaoh doesn't say yes, and God even warns Moses that you're going to go request their freedom, and he's going to say no, and I'm going to further harden his heart. And I struggled with that. I was like, God, you are totally capable of a 180 miracle to make the Pharaoh say yes and give them up. Why are you further hardening his heart? God isn't the reason for the Pharaoh's evil ways and his hardened heart, but he does choose to solidify it because God is paving a way for judgment as well as teaching a lesson to Pharaoh and really giving both the Pharaoh and all of the Egyptians the ability to know who God really is and surrender to him. As Pharaoh continues to say no and refuse to release the Israelites, God releases his judgment through plagues on the Egyptians. He also specifically chooses to use plagues that show that all of these gods that the Egyptians worshipped, from the Nile River to the earth to the air, are nothing against the power of God. And what's somewhat beautiful about this, even though those plagues get nasty, is that when in the end the Israelites are freed because that is the will of God and nothing will get in the way of it, it isn't only the Israelites who leave and follow Jesus. Many of the Egyptians surrendered and came to God through those acts, and that is why God further hardened Pharaoh's hearts. Look how many people he was able to save within the Egyptians because those plagues showed them who God was. Rock bottom showed them who God could be for them. And God can do the same for us today. When we are neck deep in sin and rebelling against God, He may let us fall flat on our face. God loves us so much that He gave us free will, and it's twofold. The free will to do what we want and give into our fleshly desires, but also the free will to submit and surrender and lay everything at His feet. You may not have a true desire for Him until you have nothing else. He uses rock bottom to show who the rock of all ages is.